Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's a beautiful day outside. I am thinking about making a Dalgona Boba Coffee. Dalgona Coffee is pretty much just equal part of instant coffee, sugar and water that mix together. The beauty of it is the fluffy coffee whip that sits atop a bed of milk. It's actually really easy to make at home and just simple as that. But today I will take this lovely drink to the next level. Pair them with my homemade boba and my homemade Dalgona candy that I really love. The layers of sweet chewy boba, ice cold milk, and fluffy Dalgona whip create the super rich, soothing, refreshing drink. And the sweet caramel lightly crunchy melt in your mouth candy even make these drinks more interesting. I'm sure that everyone will be so excited to try this. So without further ado, let's get started. First off, we will make the Dalgona candy, which is super easy and fast. You will need to prepare some greaseproof paper for the base of the mold cutter and a bit of vegetable oil to coat the cutter to prevent stickiness. I like to use my lovely love cutter shape for today. Feel free to use any design you want. My most important suggestion for this recipe is to prepare the baking soda before you start melting the sugar. The reason why is because once the sugar is melted, you will need to add the baking soda and mix immediately before the sugar starts to caramelize and ends with a bitter candy. And maybe you might be wondering how the candy traditionally made in Korea. Originally, it was made with sugar. A few tablespoons of sugar was melted in a ladle on top of the fire. Once melted, baking soda is added to produce this wonderfully sweet and spongy candy. Then melted sugar can be spread with a metal plate. And then different molds are used to make an indentation. And the fun part, the deal offered by the candyman to the kids is that if they succeeded in breaking off the outer parts without breaking the shape and keeping it whole, they can either get another candy or get some small toy for free. How cool is that? And if you can to have special tools for this Dalgona candy, you can buy the Dalgona candy making kit, which is available in a few online store. I just use my old-fashioned tiny egg fry pan, and it works perfectly fine for this project. So what I'm gonna to do is pour some sugar into the pan and cook slowly over medium-low heat. Keep stirring with a chopstick, or you can use a skewer if you want, until the sugar melted. I don't recommend using spoon to stir this, cause the sugar may stick inside the spoon, which is very troublesome. Avoid burning by stirring constantly, lower the heat if necessary. The sugar will melt and looking semi-transparent. It has to be still clear, a bit yellowish, and not brown. Try not to caramelize the sugar, else the candy will be bitter. Once the sugar is melted, add baking soda and mix immediately. Stir until well combined, and then turn off the heat. Pour the mixture into the cutter immediately, cause it will set hard pretty quickly. Unlike the traditional way, we just need to breaking off the shape one poke at a time, I felt this method is much more efficient and create a perfect shape result. Set aside, let it set and cool completely. Once the candy sets, take it out from the mold, store in an airtight container, and then we can continue to make our homemade sweet chewy boba. Combine the 85 grams tapioca starch and rice flour, mix until well combined, set aside. Then in a medium saucepan, mix brown sugar, 4 grams tapioca starch, water, and instant coffee. Stir well until no lumps remain. Cook over medium-low heat until it boils and the mixture thickens. Turn off the heat and then pour in the tapioca rice mixture and mix that all through. After the mixture is just combined, transfer the hot cooked boba dough onto a clean flat surface. And then start kneading the dough. Be careful to knead the dough in the beginning, as it is quite hot. An important tip is when forming the dough, the black sugar mixture must be boiling hot when you pour in the tapioca rice starch, or else you will get a weird texture that is wet but powdery at the same time and will never form into a dough. Knead it until the dough becomes completely smooth. Cover it with plastic wrap to prevent the dough dry, and then let it sit at room temperature to cool down and set up for about 10 minutes. There are two methods to roll the dough. First method is the fastest way, which is divide the dough into portions, roll it into a thin log of 1 cm thickness, and divide and cut log into small pieces. Try to make them as even in size as possible, or should be small enough to pass through your bubble straw. Then roll each piece in between your palms to make them round. This is definitely the most time-consuming process, but I think it's really worth it in the end. And the second method is to pinch a bit by bit dough and roll it into a ball. Remember to always cover the unfinished dough to retain their moisture. I personally prefer the second method because with the first method, you must work really quickly to avoid the log exposed in air too long, becomes dry and difficult to roll each pieces into a perfect smooth ball. And don't forget to sift some tapioca starch into the dish before you place the little dough balls to prevent stickiness. And finally, sift some tapioca starch to coat all the balls. I think even though I said some of them came out uneven, they actually look pretty similar shape here. Next, let's get the water boiling and cook this. Bring 1 liter of water to a rolling boil. The ratio is important. You don't want too little water. Toss the boba into the boiling water and let it cook for 20 minutes. After 5 minutes, stir the boba with a rubber spatula. Make sure that there's nothing stick to the bottom of the pan. Then continue boiling. Stir occasionally to prevent the boba from sticking together. They will become bigger as they cook and the water will be thickened. When the boba have finished cooking, cover the pan, remove them from the heat, and let it rest for about 30 minutes. They will shrink back to the original size and will turn dark brown at this point. After 30 minutes, stir the boba and strain the water. As you can see, they look super chewy right now. I'm gonna transfer the boba into the clean saucepan. Add the 35 grams brown sugar and 55 grams of water and just cook in a medium-low heat for about 5 minutes until the mixture is thickened and becomes a beautiful syrup. It's super goopy now. I think it's looking really good, guys. I will transfer our beautiful boba into the bowl and let it cool down a bit. And in the meantime, we can start working on our Dalgona coffee. In a large bowl, combine equal parts of instant coffee, brown sugar, and boiling water. Whip together until it becomes frothy and cloud-like. I use the electric hand mixer here, and it whips up in about a minute. But of course, you can whip it manually by hand. Just be patient, it can really take some time. Many people wondering, can we use ground coffee to make it? It really depends on how you expect the result. Because ground coffee won't dissolve completely when water is added, it won't create a cloud and fluffy result like the instant did. Alright, this is the most exciting part. I have all the components ready, guys. Now we just build the drink. And here it is, a Dalgona Boba Coffee. Stir it up a little. The boba is like perfectly chewy. It's really just smells like caramel pudding. It was just so good. And the sweet Dalgona candy. It's really crunchy and flavorful. Brown sugar rings itself are irresistible as they are addictive. When caramelized into a syrup, has a toasty nutty nuances that makes the drink so delicious. When putting the drink together, you can adjust the amount of the boba syrup, milk, and the whipped Dalgona coffee to suit your preference. I hope you can enjoy it in the comfort of your own home, like what I did. I've already finished most of my boba during the time I've been talking to you guys. I wish you guys enjoyed this video because I had a lot of fun making this. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please tap that subscribe button. Anyways, thank you all for staying with me. I will continue enjoying my beautiful cold coffee now. Please stay healthy and safe. I love you all and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!